Hello guys, what's going on? In today's video we're going to try to recreate 3 different metal tones from different styles or genres. I'm gonna be using my Charvel Duplantier signature telly style guitar, currently tuned to a drop C tuning. So for those of you who aren't familiar with drop tunings, it's basically the whole guitar tuned 2 half steps down and the thick bottom string 2 more whole steps. In this video I'm gonna be using my Mooer GE200 amp model and multi-effects processor, but this video will be applicable to mostly any amp modeler out there, such as the Helix or even with the free software plugins such as the Lepu or Ignite amps. Well, let's take a look. So here we are with an empty preset in the Mooer G200. So in this preset we're going to try to create the kind of newer In Flames tone from the albums 2011 and 4. So what we're gonna start off with is of course an amp, and for the amp we're gonna choose the EVH 5150 model. And when it comes to In Flames, they seem to like to use Marshall cabs, so we're gonna load a 1964x12 and we're gonna mic it with the distance and center set to very close and very centered. Mics in the Mooer G200 aren't that different from each other, but I'm gonna choose an NT1 mic and EL34 tubes. So for the amp, we're actually gonna lower the gain a bit to about 30. Bass and mid can stay at noon. We're gonna boost the treble a bit to about 65 or 1-2 o'clock, and presence to 75, so about 2 or 3 o'clock. And lastly we're gonna crank the master. And then we want to add a boost, and for this purpose it would be fitting with a Tube Screamer 808 style boost pedal. Max out the volume, no extra gain needed, and since the In Flames tone is quite floppy, or well, not so very much defined, we're gonna lower it to about 35 in the tone setting. We're also gonna use a noise gate, and with noise gates it's really up to what kind of pickups you're using. For me, these settings seem to work quite well, but you have to figure out what works best for your pickup setup. And also we're gonna put a noise gate in front of the chain. Next up, we're just gonna do a little simple EQ. We're gonna boost about 1.4 kilohertz. That seems to define the mid-range quite a bit. So here's what that sounds like. Next up we have the kind of Mastodon Tone. Really hard-driven British tubey gainy sound, which I quite like. So to start off, we're gonna choose our amp, and for this purpose a Marshall or an Orange would be just fine. In the Mooer G200 it seems like the JCM 900 model works the best, even though the real JCM 900 wasn't quite the best amp in the world. This model just sounds like a JCM 800 but with a quite more gain. So we're gonna boost the gain a bit to 70 or like 2 o'clock. Bass can stay where it is. We're gonna boost the mids to 2 o'clock and the treble as well to 70 or 2 o'clock. Presence likewise to about 70, 2 o'clock, and we're gonna crank the master. Next up, the cab. Again, we're gonna choose the 1964x12 Marshall cab with EL34 tubes. We're gonna choose an NT1 mic, put it very centered and very close to the speaker, like that. In front of the amp we're gonna put a overdrive pedal, this time the tube driver. With these settings you're gonna find quite a nice result. Max volume, tone to about 3 o'clock or 80, and gain at 0. We're also gonna put the noise gate in front of there, just like the previous tone. Tweak to your preferences. For me these work quite well. And again we're gonna use the same trick. Mid boost around 1400, 1.4k hertz. Boost it to 3 dB. And here's what that sounds like. Okay, so for our final metal tone, we're gonna try to recreate the Gojira Tone, since that's such a killer metal tone. Gojira are known for using 5150s, so we're gonna choose the EVH 5150. We're gonna up the gain just a notch to 55, as well as the bass just a tiny bit. Mids at noon, treble up to about 1 o'clock or 60, presence all the way to 3 o'clock or 80, and of course we're gonna crank the master. Now for our cab, We could use the EVH 5150 4x12 built-in model, but I have a special favorite. It's from Catharsis Friedman impulse responses, so it's loaded into the Mooer. It's the S-Press High impulse response. We'll still choose the EL34 tubes. In front of this we're gonna put again the 808, as you guessed, volume not cranked this time, but to about 80, tone to about 1 o'clock or 60, and gain all the way down. And we're also gonna put the regular noise gate in front of there, just to tighten up the sound a bit. So this is what this Gojira preset sounds like. That's it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. This is my first real shoot at a YouTube video, like a tutorial, so just comment down below what you think that I can maybe improve and any ideas of future videos, and I'll see you next time.